Well, welcome to another edition of GW Unspoken, where we discuss topics we typically don't talk about but probably should. And we're coming here, Season 3, Episode 5, all around community and culture and how do we build and maintain a community and culture that is authentic and improves our connections. And today I want to title this one called Family Matters. You know, what's the role of family support in our teenagers' overall well-being and mental health? But also, if you're a teen out there or you're not a parent but you're an adult, maybe you can think about some of these skills and strategies that have come from authors and research around how to build connections and actually really maintain them, because I think this is one of the most important things we can do to improve our networks and also improve our overall mental health. And number one, I think, is just to be there. If we're actually there and being supportive for the people that we love and we care about, it's one of the major things we can do to actually improve that connection and maintain and actually build that confidence and trust, because that's where our authentic relationships come from, is trust. So how do we be there and how do we be supportive? Well, we actively listen. We listen to them, listen to what they're going to say, and we don't have to actually resolve any of the issues they've got. We can just get down to eye level with them. Yep, I understand. That must be tough. Or, hey, listen, I can't even try and imagine that would be like. You must be really tough. It must be really tough for you going through this right now. How can I help? Or, geez, you're just a battle getting through this at the moment. All right, keep going. Be there. It's so important to be on their level and actively listen. We've talked about the two biggest soft skills that people often look for now is actively listening, which means we're looking at them, body language is great, nodding, and then we remember things they've said. The other one is empathy. Being able to feel what they feel is so important when we have these relationships. So do that. How about agreeing to disagree? This is another idea. Got a guy I train with at the moment, probably 2 or 3 times a week in the gym, and we have some fantastic conversations where we agree to disagree, whether it's about teaching pedagogy or how to build relationships or how to maintain relationships. And it does not affect our connection at all. In fact, it strengthens it because we're actually authentic and we have respect for each other when we're doing that. So agreeing to disagree is actually a skill. It's fine. It also grows each other's brain. I know I grow with some ideas, what he's told me now, and maybe I think, maybe I've actually got that wrong. And it questions myself to do more research to see, what my personal beliefs are. How about some don'ts? Number one, don't compare. You compare siblings, straight away you've broken connection. All right, I used to be guilty of that all the time. Hey, how come one daughter can make their bed every single day and put their towel up, but the other one can't? And guess what? It's exactly the same thing every day. Why can't you be more like your sister? It's not good. It just comparing. It breaks the connection straight away. It breaks that trust and loyalty and love. Number one, don't compare. Even amongst your friends, don't do that. People are different. How about this one from parents? Because I'm your parent and because I said so. There's an old-fashioned one, blast from the past. How's that going to respect any authority there? Think about the bosses you might have if you're a bit older. And just because they're your boss, yes, you have to do what you're told and work for them. But if they turn around and said, you're going to do what I said because I'm your boss, you're not going to add any more value or respect for that person. It's just a title. And that's another thing on the 5 levels of leadership by John C. Maxwell. If you listen to his, that's a great YouTube clip, and you can go through the 5 levels of leadership and you think about the boss you have at the moment. And what are they? Which one are they? Are they doing influence or are they just managing you and they're behind a title? It's one of the worst things you can do. How about pushing to talk? What I mean by that is some people just don't want to talk, and sometimes people are struggling and you might be able to tell they are by their nonverbals or what they say, or they're very removed from their normal behaviour. Pushing them to making them talk is not a good thing. Forced conversations, sometimes it's probably going to break that little network you might have, or that little conversation or that bond, because they feel like they're under pressure to say something. And they're no doubt, I've got no statistics behind this, but no doubt they're going to probably shade or mask their actual answer just to get you off the back. And when you're forceful on somebody as well, whether it's making them talk or trying to be a disciplinarian, that's learned behaviour. So let's just say, I can't remember the last time I was angry in class, but imagine if I was a yeller and yelling at people in my class, on the classes I have. Students are then going to understand that if I yell and I'm scary with my tone and my voice, then they'll then behave. What are they going to take from that? Oh, that means in my relationships, or when I want my own way, if I yell and I have a very loud tone in my voice, I'll then get my way. It's learned. It's a social learning theory. Don't do that. All right? Don't force people by your voice. All right? It's important to have authority, yes. Change your tone, yes. Especially teachers out there who are listening. Change your tone, yes. Add some variety. Our brains love variety. No doubt the kids' dopamine will go up if you have variety in your voice and the stories that you tell to try and engage your students. But being a forced yelling conversation, yelling at people, how do you actually enjoy teaching? How do you enjoy parenting if you're doing that the whole time? All right, go back to that agree to disagree and come back later. All right, don't break that connection. The one that my wife has at the moment, which I really love, is, if you don't agree with a certain circumstance that your child or teen is doing, you might say, look, you're free of choice, but you're not free of circumstance. And I don't agree with what you're doing right now. Yes, it may be safe, so I'm allowing you to do it, but you're not free of circumstance, and that's your choice, but I don't agree with it still. How about being firm, fair, and consistent with our decisions? If you've come with a decision that you think is the best interest of your child or children out there, be firm, fair, and consistent. It allows everyone to have safety, certainty, and most important, predictability. And most people like that. You might say, hey, I'm an entrepreneur. I love, variations in my day. That's fine. You probably do. But at the end of the day, people still want certainty. People still want predictability. And being consistent and firm and fair is so important out there, especially for the staff and who are listening to this out there. On top of that, I love the word being fun. Be silly, be stupid, but let them know you're human. It's something to do where it can break down barriers, the seriousness of it all. I think schools become way too serious. I really do. And I'm not saying that we need to drop the ball and make it easier. I'm saying make it fun. Kids only relate to, you'll only do things that either get you paid right now or something you love or something that gets your dopamine up, something to get you some drive to do something. So make it fun. Why not? Because when things are fun, people will be more inclined to do it and enjoy doing it, and therefore they'll be more inclined to do it again. It makes sense. It's not rocket science. How about using music to set or change the tone? For all those people out there who get up late notice or at the last minute when the alarm goes off and they struggle to have breakfast and, don't actually want to get up, put some music on. Try it. Try something different. Try a different genre of music. Dance around the kitchen and get the endorphins going. It's very hard to do physical activity, especially dance, to music and not smile. It can get you out of those moods. It can set the tone for your family. You can set yourself, your teenagers out there who actually need more sleep in the morning. They've now proven that. It can just get you going for the morning. Do that. And that might get you up enough to have enough brekkie in the morning, set yourself up for the brain's alert, and you might have a better day. Try it. 21 days to make a habit. Try it. I think it's so important just to try something different in music. So I think we've lost that really important part of having fun, using music, dance, art, all that creative stuff we had when we were young. It sort of gets knocked out of us when we go to school because we get told to do what we're supposed to do and you can't be this and you can't be that. Use music. Get back into it. All right, it's a big thing I'd like to try. The other two I want to talk about is love languages and personality styles, and I think they're key. I've talked about this before with love languages with Gary Chapman, the 5 love languages, and we often act the way that we want people to act towards us. So if my love language is words, I'll often give out a lot of praise and compliments to people because that's my love language. But theirs may not be words. Theirs might be gifts. Theirs might be quality time or acts of service. So I've got to find out without doing a quiz. I'm not going to go up there really weirdly and say, hey, do this quiz so I know who you are. But if you can find out what their love language is and you feed that, your relationship is going to be huge. I do that with a lot of my classes. A lot of classes I teach, I do the love languages so I get to know them and then they get to know their peers. And hopefully they'll know their strengths of where they connect and they're opposite to me, but they are different until I have to start thinking about how I can connect with them and serve and think about them. The personality styles was key for me when I was the head of department PE at Redcliffe High. I was what they call as a choleric, which means wants to be in charge, wants to lead, wants to get things done and get things done now. And I didn't understand why, looking after a staff of about 12 there in the department, why people took so long to do something when we knew it was due anyway. It drove me crazy. I was like, what is wrong? Like, this is due, let's go. But being of a different personality, it wasn't, the more I was sort of forceful or saying, let's go, the more they were disconnected. So actually learning those personality styles and Florence Latour has a personality styles quiz where there's 20 strengths and 20 weaknesses and you do it and it tells you across the 4 personality styles what you typically are, and often 2 are really close. And once you do that, you can look at your strengths and weaknesses and also that of others, but also your connection is crazy. So every time I meet someone, it's not a secret. I try and find out what their love language is and what their personality style is. And once I can do that, I've got more of a chance to connect with them. So I've gone from someone who sit in a quiet corner. I didn't really like to party much, but when I did, I was a designated driver. I didn't like to drink much. And I just sit there and just look at people and go, wow, they're really boisterous. They're really loud. I could never be like that. Why are they so rude and arrogant? They weren't that. They just had a different personality style from mine. And learning that was key for me. And I think every single educator, every single corporate, if you are everyone, you're in charge of your family. If you're a teenager out there, it'll put you ahead of the game. Do the personality styles quiz. Find out what you are. Find out what the people who are around you. That and the love languages, and your connection will absolutely go through the roof. I want to give you a challenge to do that. Find out what yours is. Find out what your partner's is. Find out what your loved one's is, even as a joke or just a fun activity. You can find it online, flick it out through a text message and say, hey, love you to do the love language quiz today, and then maybe do the personality styles one. It's a bit more challenging, that one. Some of the words are a bit more difficult, but find out what they are. And then when they get back to you and you actually take that on board and act in a way and behave in a way that looks at theirs first, their personality style and their love language, your connections will go through the roof. I guarantee you. Guarantee it will. And it may be a surprise. It may be a surprise that the friends you've been around or your family or your loved ones, your close, intimate partners might be exactly the opposite to what you actually think their love language or personality style is. I just think it's so important. When a child or teen can't come down, they need connection, they need comfort. They need criticism and control. And that's from Jane Evans. I like this other one too that I read too, a little quote from Andy Stanley, great church minister. He's online. I heard him a few times. And he said, your greatest contribution to the world may not be something you do, but someone you raise. For all those teens out there who are listening to this, it's not about you waiting till you have children to actually use that quote. How can you contribute to someone and something else and be that positive role model in their life? How can you actually do those things? Actively listen, have empathy, be supportive. How can you be firm, fair and consistent? How can you have some fun and be silly and use music maybe to change your mode and your mood? How can you actually do the love languages quiz as a fun thing to do or like I said, flick out a text or learn their personality style and work out how you can actually build that culture and community within your family or your loved ones. Because as we said before, authentic connections are the real connections. And I look forward to talking to you for episode 6 very shortly in GW Unspoken. And again, thank you for joining us.